It's almost going to be 11:11, and we are live on YouTube. Perfect, right? And anyone who wants the YouTube link, I am just also putting it in the inbox, right, in the message box. Right. So, okay, I just want to let my team member know, Ritesh, the YouTube is active now. It's live. So maybe people who are locked out, you can just share the link with them. Okay, great. Perfect. Okay, we are almost done. Just doing the last bit of checking. Yeah, 11:11. Here we go. Ritesh, could you please confirm to us if we are live on YouTube right
Yes,
now?
sir.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for your patience. Some of you have joined this newly, so I will not waste a lot of time in introducing myself because you just heard a Gayatri Mantra, and I want to move on with the next few steps from there. But I happen to be Dr. Gaurav Deka. I happen to be a money and business coach, and I primarily run a program called ATIPS, which is basically a lifetime money and business coaching program for life coaches and healers and therapists. And I help everyone make a lot of money, right? We do a mix of soul work and strategy work. My focus often is as much as on identity and self-concept and energy and command and voice and visibility, as much as is on scaling and selling and marketing and strategy, tactics, whatever you call it. So I bring all of them together and I integrate it, which is basically spirit and strategy. So let's move on to today's call, right? What you heard just now was a Gayatri Mantra based on Matangi. Okay. And I want to move on and let you be in the energy of that for a little while. And I want to do a chanting. And what I want to do in the chanting is I'd like you to drop down into your body, right? And try not to analyze so much. Try not to analyze so much. And then after the chanting, I'll break it down for you. Right now, you heard a Gayatri Mantra of Matangi. And let's go ahead and do the chanting. All I want you to do is simply drop into your body. If you want to visualize a ball of golden light moving through your head, through your spine, through your entire body, right? You can do that. You can visualize that. Let's get comfortable. And I'm just going to chant for you. Okay. I'll take off my video so that you can just focus on your inner world while I chant. Om ह्रीं ऐं श्रीं नमो भगवती उच्छिष्ट चंडाली श्री मातंगेश्वरी सर्वजन्मशंकरी स्वाहा ओम ह्रीं ऐं श्रीं नमो भगवती उच्छिष्ट चंडाली श्री मातंगेश्वरी सर्वजन्मशंकरी स्वाहा ओम ह्रीं ऐं श्रीं नमो भगवती उच्छिष्ट चंडाली श्री मातंगेश्वरी सर्वजन्मशंकरी स्वाहा ओम ह्रीं ऐं श्रीं नमो भगवती उच्छिष्ट चंडाली श्री मातंगेश्वरी सर्वजन्मशंकरी स्वाहा ओम ह्रीं ऐं श्रीं नमो भगवती उच्छिष्ट चंडाली श्री मातंगेश्वरी सर्वजन्मशंकरी स्वाहा ओम ह्रीं ऐं श्रीं नमो भगवती उच्छिष्ट चंडाली श्री मातंगेश्वरी सर्वजन्मशंकरी स्वाहा ओम ह्रीं ऐं श्रीं नमो भगवती उच्छिष्ट चंडाली श्री मातंगेश्वरी सर्वजन्मशंकरी स्वाहा ओम ह्रीं ऐं श्रीं नमो भगवती उच्छिष्ट चंडाली श्री मातंगेश्वरी सर्वजन्म शंकरी स्वाहा ओम ह्रीं ऐं श्रीं नमो भगवती उच्छिष्ट चंडाली श्री मातंगेश्वरी सर्वजन्म शंकरी स्वाहा ओम ह्रीं ऐं श्रीं नमो भगवती उच्छिष्ट चंडाली श्री मातंगेश्वरी सर्वजन्म शंकरी स्वाहा ओम ह्रीं ऐं श्रीं नमो भगवती उच्छिष्ट चंडाली श्री मातंगेश्वरी सर्वजन्म शंकरी स्वाहा. I'll give you a breakdown of it, okay? Once you settle. So we began this whole masterclass, which is not a masterclass for me, at least it's majorly a transmission because it came to me in a certain way. I was planning to do it in a different way, but then things happen in between, and I will break it down how things happen and why things happen, right? So I want you to be present with your body, and I want you to be present throughout this call. Let go of all distractions. Think that there is some major change that you will work out through this one, is what I would tell. Why we began with Goddess Matangi's Gayatri Mantra and why we began with this chant is, if you look at Matangi, who happens to be the 9th Mahavidya of the entire Mahavidya clan, right? So we have Kali, we have Tara, we have Bhuvaneshwari, we have Shodashi, we have Chinnamasta, we have Dhumavati, we have Bagalamukhi, we have Matangi, we have Kamalatmika, we have all of this, we have Bhairavi, right? So the 9th one is, of course, Matangi. And there's a reason why I'm using Matangi to go to Kali, which I will go to eventually, is because when you look at Matangi, she's essentially the Devi of a lot of different kinds of things. Most people call her the Tantric Saraswati, but I would say that is like a very, reductionist way of talking about her. She's ideally the Devi of forest, the Devi of nature, or the Devi of any form of tribal culture, right? She's the Devi of all the outcast, right? And anyone who prays to her also starts channeling the non-intellect. So with Saraswati, there is intellect. Intellect simply means everything that is used by your neocortex of the brain, which is your rational knowledge or your mathematical knowledge or critical thinking, analysis, right? All of the things that we use in order to study in the world, get university degrees and graduation and learn some art, which has a lot of technical skills attached to it, right? A lot of techniques and methods attached to it. And Matangi is actually beyond that. She's beyond the concept of the intellect, everything that is non-intellect, right? Everything that is non-intellect is intuition, download, right? Wisdom that you cannot put into words. She's often also called the Devi of the spoken word. And the spoken word simply means that you are constantly downloading and you're constantly channeling and you're constantly talking. For example, right now, as I speak to you guys, I just have my pointers in front of me so that I don't miss the 5 points, because the class is called 5 Steps to Activating Your Magnetic AF Self-Concept. But I don't have any script in front of me. However, it's just pure download at this moment that is going on, right? So I don't have to try to remember something to speak to you guys because it is going on, right? So she's the one who brings the non-intellect into the physical realm by the spoken word. And sometimes we don't even have to write because it's just channeling all the time that's going on, right? Which is also your realm as coaches, as healers, as therapists, because when you are present with a client, you want to be present with the client. You want to be yourself. You want to help them. You don't want to refer to your notes or to your method or to a certain kind of modality, or you feel trapped by a certain technique that you need to learn and do it exactly in the step-by-step manner. That way, you also lose a huge part of your essential nature as the identity that you bring as a coach to your clients. Instead, you want to be more present and more in the download mode so that you can be totally present with the client and flow with them in the river of their psyche, right? So if there was one card that is associated Matangi, would be the moon card in tarot, if anyone knows tarot, right? The moon card, because it is again downloading constantly, constant download. And the third thing that she is a Devi of, so I said forest, tribal nature, then I talked about the non-intellect. The third thing that she is a Devi of is she is also the Devi of taboo and residue. Everything that is a residue. In Hindi, they say jhutan, right? You cook something, you eat something, and then there is something left behind on your plate. Usually, Matangi is prayed by giving the jhutan, which is the residue. And the reason is that she is someone who can build diamonds and golds and palaces and castles out of residue, right? I think this is the part that I resonate the most with her, is because what do we have as residues? Have you ever thought, like, what is my residue that I'm not bringing into my coaching, bringing into my healing, or bringing into my marketing, or even into my selling, or into my identity, the way I speak, the way I communicate? What residue am I not bringing out? The residue that we all have essentially is our pain. Our residue is our wounds. Our residue is everything that is unmetabolized and undigested within us. Our residue is the traumas that we have been through, the stories that we don't speak about, all happenstance and events of vulnerability, all events where we have been hurt, abandoned, rejected, right? Thrown away, hurt. And it is so important to bring those things into the world, into every way you expose yourself to the world and inspire them to take action, whether to get coached or work with you, or in your marketing, because in your marketing, essentially what you are bringing is an identity and energy of yours. After that comes technical things like value, 5 things you can do to get a better emotional state, 5 things you can do to lose weight, 5 things you can do to get a partner, manifest a partner. Those things come much later in the way we market. The first thing that people respond to us in the way we are is when we bring our essential nature. And our essential nature is trapped in our residue. Everything that you think is a taboo in your life, you think you cannot talk about, you think that talking about those things, other people might get triggered, right? Your friends might get triggered, your in-laws might get triggered, your parents might get triggered, your siblings might get triggered. How can you speak about such things, right, in public, right? So it's very important to then consider that what is the residue that I haven't actually brought just because I feel bad or I feel shame. Residue may also mean that things that you have already done, right? Sometimes I do a video, I do a class, and I try to make it really perfect. And then I feel that, oh, there were like 3 imperfections in this class because I did not speak at, 10 minutes, at 31 minutes, and at 51 minutes, I stuttered and I did not speak, but that's my residue. If I don't bring that imperfection out into the world, how can I be a human? How would people relate to me, right? So that is where begins uh, the whole idea of becoming magnetic, which is what I'm going to talk about in this class. Just give me one moment. Which is what I'm going to talk about in this class. And the other thing that I really, really like that Goddess Matangi has sort of taught me is she's the Devi of nature. And nature, the beautiful thing about nature is nature does not pretend. Nature never pretends. Nature presents it itself as is. There's nothing in nature to for it to pretend. Right? Nature is present as is, which is also why I've been really fortunate to have, if I could just turn my screen, I could have shown you. I have a beautiful forest in front of my house. And I think that's like a real gift, which constantly reminds me, right, that nature does not pretend, and I don't have to pretend. I don't have to hide any of my residues or any of the chutan of my soul. Let's put it that way, right? So the mantra that I chanted was Uchishta Chandalini mantra, which is basically another form of goddess Matangi. She's, let's say, the more vivid and the wilder form, the form who lives in the cremation ground, and she is the Chandalini version. And why I love that mantra is because that mantra is actually a Mohini mantra, but it does not do Mohini or, in, let's say, the word Vashikaran from the point of view that I will manipulate someone into believing that they must come and be with me or do something with me or pay me. That's not it. If you look at her iconography, you will find that she is actually a Chandalini, right? Someone who lives in the cremation ground, right? And that automatically that makes her taboo, right? Automatically that makes her outside the fringes of what we call societal programming of a woman. And that is her true nature. So through her true nature, she tells you that if you step into who your truest essence, truest nature is, if you let go of all forms of pretensions, all form of modeling, all form of veils that you feel is necessary for people to like you, validate you, approve you, work with you, pay you, right? That is when you become the most magnetic, because being raw, being naked is actually being the most magnetic, right? Now, I want to give you a little story before we move on to step two rather. Step one was the invocation of the Devi and understanding the Devi, what it is trying to communicate to us. I want to move on to step two of the 5-step of activating your magnetic AF self-concept. And step two started with a story. When I was preparing for this class, and I'm also like working very hard on my business. I've been working very hard on getting more and more people into ATEPs so that I could serve them, I could help them make money, right? Reaching out to a lot of people, doing a lot of tech stuff, strategic stuff, tactics, reading a lot of books, consuming a lot of content of different trainers, being in various different kinds of masterminds, and trying to understand how can I run my business better? How can I reach out to more people? How can I get better and better in my marketing? How can I get better and better in my selling? I was doing that and I was getting a lot overwhelmed because of the amount of consumption that I was doing. We all live in a world of social media, right? And what happens is it is no one's fault, but it's just that we are exposed to so many different kinds of minds and brains and brands at so many different levels that often we forget what we want to do, how do we like to talk, how we like to communicate, what do we like to write about, what are the thoughts and opinions and point of views we believe in. So that keeps on getting masked more and more and more. That keeps on getting veiled more and more and more because we get exposed to so many people and so many brains and so many brands, right? And automatically what happens is there is a critical part of us that comes out, each one of us, including me, that tells us that what you are doing and how you are expressing and how you like to do things is not good enough. This is good enough that you are noticing, that you are seeing, because you can see results there. You can see a lot of likes, you can see a lot of comments, and you can see a lot of views. You can see a lot of followers. Those things you are seeing, and you're automatically getting inclined to become like them. It's not their fault. It's not our fault. We all have an internal critique, right? And that takes us more and more and more away from our essential nature, from the fact that nature does not need to pretend, right? From our own residue, which is our gold, right? And the same thing happened to me. The same thing happens to you guys, right? You feel a constant need to become like someone, talk like someone, market like someone. And it was getting really, really exhausting for me without my own realization, to the extent that my partner said that, bas karo, like just calm down. You really need to calm down because I need you to like come back to your body. And I said that I really have to work on this. Like there's so many aspects of my business that I have to focus on, and it's just getting too much for me right now. That evening, I had a really high fever. Like I've never had this kind of fever in the last, I think, at least 20 years. I've never had this level of fever that I had. And I was shivering in fever, and then I couldn't sleep. I was watching one of the podcast, and I was watching a woman who was talking about Ma Kali, and she was saying that, why Kali is so wild and frightening and fiery and scary, and yet she's so addictive and magnetic and arresting. And that is because she's devoid of all conditioning. She's devoid of all forms of conditioning, whether it is societal conditioning, familial conditioning, conditioning on what you should wear or how you should talk or how you should look like normal human conditioning even. Let alone conditioning of being a woman, let alone conditioning of uh, how a woman should dress or should not dress, what she should speak, should not speak. And I think it is in that moment I had this like immense realization that, oh, what I'm actually doing is I'm bringing more and more conditioning instead of deconditioning myself, which was my original target. I'm actually bringing more and more programmings instead of letting go of the programs. And next morning, as I was feeling a little better, I was discussing this with my partner, and he said that the more conditioning we bring into our world, the more karma we are bringing into our world anyway, right? Because again, you start attaching so many different conditionings of who you must be, right? So many different programmings. So I went ahead, and what I did was that morning, I did an exercise. I asked myself, and now this is where part two comes, step two comes. I asked myself that I got into this trap of I have to do this and use this strategy and that strategy and this technique and that technique. And it made me more and more and more trapped. So I asked myself that I'm getting into the same trap as I had gotten in earlier. So if today I accept my life as I'm happy, I'm peaceful, I have freedom, I have space, I have lightness, I have the money, I have people who believe in me, I have people with whom I am interacting and I'm helping them on a day-to-day basis, I get to be content. So what is the most contrasting experience to this? What has been my most contrasting experience? If today I'm happy and content and joyful, then what is the most contrasting experience I've had? And as I closed my eyes, it immediately took me back to medical college. So some of you may already know that I studied to be a medical doctor. And at the same point of time, being in the institution made me feel like a prisoner. I felt trapped. I felt captivated. And even though I finished medicine, I no longer continued it. It was not the path that my soul chose. So I made a list and I wrote it down in this diary. I have a beautiful Alice in Wonderland diary where I wrote down. And I just want to read out lightly before I move on. And I wrote down the contrast. What is the contrast to today's life? And I wrote down why I hated being in the institute and studying medicine back then. And I wrote down, I couldn't have freedom. I couldn't have fun. It felt like too much of dead work. I found it dull, boring, and crammy. And then I underlined the words that stood out for me, like freedom and fun, too much of dead work, dull, boring, crammy. And then I made another heading and I wrote down, if this is what I disliked, this was the most contrasting experience of my life, what is my essential nature then? Right? What is the other polarity? And I wrote down simple words. I love freedom, inner and outer both. And then I realized this is the reason I never have a job. Right? I always started something of my own. I love a sense of independence, right? I love fun, which is what I always do in my courses, whether paid or free. I always make them fun because I believe that human life is supposed to be joyful. We are not supposed to suffer, right? I love variety. I love innovation. I love novelty. This is the reason why I do integrative experiences. Like I was a former regression therapist. I was a former EFT therapist. Then I became a business coach. I love doing trauma work, generational work, and I bring all of that under the realm of money and finance and business and explore all of those things in an integrated way because I love variety and innovation. It keeps my dopamine at a constant high level when I'm able to serve people from all the different directions and dimensions. Then I wrote down, I love creation and I love lightness. And that is the reason why I built a business for myself where I just have to work for 3 hours while giving in my 100%, while the rest of the hours I get to focus on my partner, on my family, on my food, on my body, and all of those things, right? And I advocate that even for my students, right? So when I found this list, that is when I realized that, okay, I am actually betraying my essential nature because this is the nature I was probably born with. This is the nature that my soul derives out of everything that I'm doing. So why am I trying to do all of those things that is against my essential nature? And therefore, my nervous system becomes more and more tight instead of becoming lighter and more spacious and more vibrant, right? So I have an exercise for you now, right? And in this exercise, what I want you to do is I want you to find out your contrasting experience. And there is a PDF that I had sent out to some people on DMs on Instagram, and we were running a post, and people were commenting on the post and getting the PDF. Don't worry, even you will get, because if you're registered for this training, when I send you the replay, you will find the PDF. So in the PDF, there are around 15 prompts to guide you to find out your contrasting experience. But I will just read 3 to 5 so that you get an idea of how to write them down. Okay, so listen to the prompts first of all. Number 1, what phase of life felt most deadening, dull, or gray? Right? So what phase of my life felt the most deadening, most dull, most gray? Number 2, where did your body feel tired even after resting? Where did your body feel tired even after resting? Number 3 is, I like this word and I also dislike it. What kind of work felt like gadha majduri, like meaningless labor, right? There was a phase in your life that may have felt like gadha majduri, right? Meaningless labor. When did you feel you had to wear a mask to survive? You had to pretend, you had to wear a mask to survive. I felt that in medical college because I had to put up with the persona of being a doctor, right? What identity did you have to perform that felt fake? I think all performances are fake because the fact that you have to perform, meaning that you can't be present. If you are performing, you can't be present. Who made you feel too much, too loud, too slow, or too soft, with whatever your essential nature is, right? So maybe write down a couple of sentences that, oh, now I get it. This was the phase in my life where I felt this and then this. This is what went lacking. This is what I liked, but I did not get. This is what I wanted to feel, but I did not feel. Instead, I felt XYZ, right? Like I wrote down, I could not have freedom, I could not have fun, I could not have independence, right? Take 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and write it down in your notebook, right? Yeah, it could be your present phase, which is absolutely fine. Take 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and write it down, right? Write it down peacefully. I'm here. If you finish writing down, then what you can do is some of you can put it in the chat box, the words that sting the most, the words that feel that they are pinching you the most, they are standing out of your notebook and they are like strangulating you. You can write down. Right? So let's have a look at the word. Yeah. That sting the most, not productive, tired at heart, small and invisible, choking, rejection, alone, I am not worthy, muted, why I took loans, not good enough, right? Unworthy. It is important to notice these words because if these are words that don't make you feel good, they make you feel tight, they make you feel unworthy, they make you feel resentful of yourself and of others, and they essentially take you from your essential nature, then the contrasting words, the words that will come as a contrast, will be your essential nature, right? Useless, coward, rejected, unworthy, right? Claude from yeah, extremist, selfish, um, right? And I want you to, for a moment, look at these words and feel these words that don't feel good trapped in parts of your body, wherever they are in your body, right? That in all of these years and or months, they have become a part of your identity. It's as if you move through these words on a day-to-day basis, carrying them inside you, inside your womb, inside your shoulders, inside your breast, and inside your thighs. You carry them in a way as if this is like a veil, a mold that has formed all over you and has seeped inside of you and has formed this false identity all around you. That is not who you truly are, but it has become your false identity, right? Just notice, you will feel as if there is like clay or mud all around you that has trapped you, kept you tight with these words, stinging into your bones, right? And then if you can open your eyes and look at me while carrying that image, like even if you open your eyes, you still have that image going on in your brain right now, right? And we will do a bit of EFT to release that, okay? There are many other ways you can do it actually. Like you can stomp your feet, you can like bang the table, you can clap, you can open your mouth and cry. We can do all of that, right? But so that universally we are able to do one thing, all of us, let's try and achieve in breaking this mold, right? Through EFT, right? Everyone with me? Cool? Okay. So here's how we do it. We tap here. This is called the karate chop. So we tap here. And since your mics are mute, therefore you can actually be loud in your own rooms. If you can be, that would be really, really great. Like, right? Even though I've let all of these veils, all of these masks, all of this false molding form me. Even though I'm carrying this identity for such a long time, I know it's not me, but I seem to be carrying it. I feel forced to carry it. Even though most of my life I have lived as someone else. I've talked as someone else. I've spoken, presented, shown the world as someone else. And these could be programmings from my childhood. Programmings from my childhood. These could be programmings from my ancestors. But I seem to be carrying them. And the more I live that life, the tighter my body becomes. The more dead I feel. The more useless I feel. The more uncreative I feel. Even though this feels like a compulsion, I still choose to love and accept myself. Now take it one notch higher, right? Even though what I'm living right now inside of me is a false identity. And I can see its effects, that I am not stepping into my inner Kali. Because if I were my inner Kali, if I allowed her to radiate through my bones, if I allowed her to radiate through my skin, if I opened my mouth out loud and allowed all her unspoken words to come out, open your mouth. If I allowed all those words to move out, if my throat ever opened, and I spoke words that the world told me not to speak, I would then step into my true nature. I would then step into who I truly am. Right? Someone's mic is on. Right? Even though that's not who I am so far. And it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage. And I struggle with that courage. I struggle with that faith, with that level of faith. I am willing to let go of all masks today. I am willing to unearth my residues. I'm going to bring out my residues. I will bring out my traumas. I will bring out my pain. I will bring out my wounds. And I will offer it to the Devi. I will offer it to the divine. I will offer it to God. And I will embrace myself as this version I always wanted to be. And I'm willing to believe in the sacred room, in the sacred container that we all are. I'm willing to believe. I'm willing to believe that I will be revered. I will be wanted. My work will be desired. My mind will be desired for being my naked self, for being my real self, for tapping into my inner Kali. You can open your mouth and blow out. I love the symbolism of the tongue because it just it allows what other people may notice as grotesque as the most primal expression. That is what is required in your showing up, in your marketing, in your energy, the most primal expression, right? I'm willing to bring this primal expression. I'm willing to embrace this primal expression of mine in the way I show up, in the way I talk, in the way I interact, I write, I market, I sell. I am willing to be my most primal self. I will no longer betray my essential self. I'm willing to be who I truly am. I'm willing to be who I truly am. I'm going on a quest to find my essential nature. And I believe people will want me for exactly that. I, in fact, believe that this is my most magnetic form. I feel so activated in this moment. My primal form is my magnetic form. My essential nature is pure magnetism. As I step into what I notice is raw inside of me, my residues, my wounds, my traumas, I am most magnetic in this form. This is my most magnetic self. I am an embodiment of the divine Chandalini, of all the divine taboos that I carry, the divine traumas, the divine pain, the divine wounds that made me who I am today. And that's magnetism for me. I radiate this magnetism. I radiate this self-concept. And I notice that the more I transmit this energy, the more people are naturally attracted to me. I don't have to perform, it just happens. This is my true essence. And people are addicted to my energy. We are all so addicted to my energy. I am present, and people are simply being in front of me, wanting me, desiring me, wanting to work with me, wanting to pay me only for who I am, for my energy. People are addicted to my energy. All the right people are addicted to my energy. I am an energetic, magnetic being. This is my true nature. And I'm grateful for having found my essential nature. I'm just so grateful in this moment. I found my essential nature. I feel deeply, deeply grateful. I love and accept myself. Right? Okay. Put both of your hands on your chest lightly. Right? And take a slow, deep, long breath. Exhale fully. Just exhale fully. Exhale fully. Right? I know it is exhausting, but imagine the strength of it. Drink some water, get some water, take some break and drink some water. Take some break and drink some water. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You will have the replays. The replay will also be available in my YouTube channel, which means some of you who may miss the mail or not open the mail, or it goes to your spam or stuff, then you can always go to my YouTube channel and hunt for the same title that says 5 Steps to Activating Your Magnetic AF Self-Concept, and you will be able to watch it. Thank you, guys. Right? Great. Thank you. So we can only find out what is true to our being and what is true to our core when we find out a contrasting experience for us. And from the contrast, we start finding out, oh, what is it that I like? Who am I? What am I made of? What is my primary composition? Right? Only then we begin to find that. So I have a few prompts for you guys. Okay. Try and listen to the prompts. Don't have to exhaust your brain. Just try and listen to the prompts. So when I'm not trying to impress anyone, I dash, dash, dash. Who am I then? The things that come easily to me that maybe others often struggle with are dash, 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 dash. I feel most alive when I am doing, being, thinking, feeling, dash, dash, dash. I lose track of time when I, again, like dash, 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 dash. So these are some prompts to actually find out that if you released all that mold and all that muck from your identity, who are you truly? Who are you? Can you write down at least 5 words that come home to your essential nature, that brings you the closest to essential nature? Can you write down at least 5 words in your notebook? I'll give you a few more prompts. What have I always known about myself, but been too scared to own publicly? What kind of client or room do I feel instantly at ease in? What traits do I secretly envy in others, which basically usually points us to suppressed aspects of our own self, right? What kind of creative energy do I have, right? Is it fiery, watery, electric, steady, sensual, chaotic? If I were to lead a movement with no fear or judgment, what would it be called, right? So these are like small little prompts to find out my essential nature. So if 5 words could describe my true essential nature, those words would be. So that was a combination of step 3 and step 4 of the whole process. Writing down your essential nature, maybe 5 words that define your essential nature. And if someone has completed that, you can just put it in the comment section. How would you like to describe yourself? What's your real essential nature? Something that probably you haven't been bringing into your business and marketing and communication so far. Freedom, uniqueness, creative, innovative, self-acceptance, playful. Yeah, playful. Sensual, unfiltered, expressive, allowance, jailbreaking. I love this jailbreaking. Yeah. Excitement, energy, fun, flexible, free, creative, spiritual, peaceful, fearless, wild. Yes. Sexy energy. Yeah. Wild, absolutely wild. Even I am like, I'm wild. I am deeply sexual. I'm highly innovative, obsessive. Like some of the things that other people say is wrong about you could also be your superpower. Like people say that, Gaurav, you have OCD, and I think my OCD is my superpower. You know, this is because I have OCD. I can go so detailed into a process, and like when I'm coaching, I'm going into very detailed questions that other people can't go. Right? Yeah, in the flow, not much effort. Me too. Me too. Authentic. Yeah. Sexual, primal, cosmic, comic, playful, intelligent, witty, spontaneous, inviting energy, original leader. Yes. Raw. Beautiful. Beautiful. Can you put some of the words in a sentence? Like, I am the kind of coach who is like raw, or people are responding to my rawness, or people are drawn to me because blah, 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 or my business grows when I dash, dash, dash. I'll give you some examples. Like, for example, in my case, some of the sentences are, I am the kind of coach that people are constantly responding to my energy, because I work via energy. In my marketing, I'm constantly making things because of my energy, not because of what I write, by the way. Some people tell me that I write well, but I believe that the energy behind what I put out is way more potent than what I write or what I say. Like, and I believe that I am the kind of coach that people are constantly responding to my energy. And I say, I am the kind of coach that people are drawn to because of the certainty I bring, right? You can say, I am the kind of coach who doesn't promise results, but revelations. So maybe give me one sentence like that. I also believe that people don't buy my programs, they buy my presence. Like every room that I sell, whether it's ATEPs, whether it's Mohini, whether it's Mastermind, I think people are constantly wanting to be in a higher frequency with me, which is why they choose. I want you to find a belief about yourself that comes from your essential nature that contributes to your identity as a coach. Yeah, I love this. I am the kind of coach where people love to just be in my presence. I'm the kind of coach who is vocal, enigmatic, bindas, all out there to do what I love to do. I love this. I am the coach, value flows through me. This is so true. Value flows through me is I love, because I have this other sentence that anything that comes out of my mouth is valuable. Like it doesn't matter what I'm thinking, not thinking. Because if Matangi is wildly flowing through me, do I have to try to make an impact? No, I don't have to. Right? I'm a coach with whom people sign up to find the possibilities, feel safe, and get the highest value they look for. I have another sentence as well, that the moment I enter a room, all nervous systems enter ventral. Like ventral is a state of the nervous system where people relax and feel more at ease and more comfortable. Like I'm the coach who enters a room and people immediately go into their ventral. So someone writes, I'm the coach that my connection to my energy, words, and presence uplifts your awareness. People buy certain safety and certainty from me. Love this. It's very important to acknowledge these things and bring it into your marketing, into your selling, into your consultations, into the way you write, so that you don't end up unconsciously even copying others. Because copying takes away this part from you, and I don't want that to happen to you. I want this part to remain and bloom and flourish, and it should become like a forest, so that people are gravitating towards you because of this nature. You never have to put an effort in talking about yourself or your work or your products or your offers or your coaching. My presence allows you, brings out the worst and the best in them. Yeah, I'm the kind of coach where people find deep revelations and let go of all their illusions. I'm the kind of coach whom people trust because I'm authentic. I bring transformation, right? Now I'm going to ask you to utilize from today onwards, in the next 7 days, your essential nature, what you find out, the kind of coach you are, the kind of elements that make you, right? We are all made of the Panchtattva. But you see, every one of you has very different elements that contribute to your true and essential nature, correct? If you preserve this combination, and if you keep taking it out in everywhere you go, you would never have to put an effort that how do I make people like me, or how do I make them sign up with me, or how do I make them buy from me. You never have to do that, none of it. There's a reason why someone like me does not get objection from people, even when I'm selling a 5 lakh or 11 lakh product. They would say that, okay, like we will come back to you, but they would never give an objection that, oh, we can't buy, but why is this so expensive? Why is this happening? No, I would never get, because in my self-concept, there is no possibility of objection. I don't allow objections to happen in my self-concept. And this is the beginning of what you experience today is the beginning of the emergence of your self-concept, that your concept about yourself becomes so powerful and so magnetic and so attractive. And at the same time, it is raw, it is wild, it is untempered. It does not need layering, right? Which is why it becomes magnetic. As your self-concept, as the arena and radius of your self-concept becomes that, right? As you become nature, which means you no longer have to pretend, right? What happens is automatically people will respond exactly the way you want them to respond. That is the whole idea of magnetism, because your belief not only in you, but in others also expands. You begin to believe that the right people are always coming in, the right people are always being magnetized, which is why yesterday night, I hit an audience size of 5,000. Up until now, I had an audience size of less than 5,000 on Instagram. And every year I make more than 10 crores. Have you ever heard of a business owner who has less than 5,000 audience size and hits over 10 crores every year? I do that. And that is because the people who are there really matter. They are really there. They really like who I am. So when they see me outside and when they find me inside a program, those two people are not different. I don't have to pretend. right? It also means that I repel a lot of people. So many people follow me and then they find out and then they feel that, oh, this guy is like too loud and like he's so weird and the kind of stuff he talks about. Let me just unfollow him. That also happens, right? But then in order to embrace your wild self, right? Like if some unknown person who has no idea of the origins of the Devi or mythology sees Kali just as an image, imagine what is going to happen to this guy. That guy is going to run away, right? But then because we have information, we have context. That is why we are in reverence to her wildness, to her rawness, to her nakedness, right? Similarly, when you are wild and raw and naked and you are in your essential nature, there's a lot of repulsion you will create in people. A lot. Out of 1,000 people, 900 people will be repulsed by you. And those 100 people, the rest 100 people, they will come and they will stay and they will want to work with you and they will want to, keep consuming and being in your energy again and again and again, right? Which is why I have the highest number of repeat buyers. People buy from me and then they buy again and again and again, because there is a constant requirement and necessity and wanting and desire to be in that energy. So what I want you guys to do is, now that you found your essential self and you wrote down a sentence for yourself that the kind of coach that you are, I want you to utilize it in the way you market and sell, right? For example, rewriting your Instagram bio from this new self. Rename your current or upcoming offer, or maybe create an offer from this new self. Maybe write one post that expresses your most magnetic essential sentence, right? Maybe create a freebie as a value service for others, which is rooted in what you found in today's class, right? Maybe record a 1-minute video speaking about your new identity, who you truly are, that you never spoke on social media or in front of people, right? So take one action, and if you can take that action right now while you are in the class, it would be amazing, right? So I'm going to do it on your behalf. I will go to my Instagram. While you guys are there, I'll record mine, okay? So that you guys feel inspired to do that. Okay, let me do it while looking at all of you. Hi guys, we are in the middle of my ongoing masterclass, which is 5 steps to activating your magnetic AF self-concept. And what I found about myself, my true identity, is that I love it when I'm able to be wild, when I'm able to be natural, when I'm able to be sexual, when I am able to offer value to people from this real being that I am, and I no longer have to pretend myself, right? I don't have to put up with a false nature. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to create something that my soul does not align with. And that is exactly the kind of people that I'm looking for to work with, to be with me, to be committed to me. That's it. It's done. I'm going to post it now. Right. So you guys can do that too, by the way. See, it's done. You can actually go to my Instagram and see it. And I did it because I want you guys to know that I don't talk fluff. I want to walk the talk. If I'm asking you to do something, I will do it too, however awkward, imperfect, or vulnerable it will make me feel. Because I know that this is a way of not just bringing the right people in, it's about finding myself. We are doing business not just to make money, not just to bring in people. We are doing business because we also want to find out who you are capable of. And I tell this in my paid containers a lot, that each one of us, every one of us, have a human life, which means every one of us are going to die. And 100 years later, no one is going to remember your name. No one is going to remember who you are and how you existed and who your parents were and what you did. And if that is the case, then you might as well go on a quest of finding out who you can be in the years that are left. You want to find out what I am capable of before I die. And that should be inspiring. It should not be morbid. It should be the most inspiring thing, that I really want to find out who I truly am when I'm devoid of all conditions. That on my deathbed, I can say that, oh, now I understand why Kali is the way she is. I found who she is in me through this life. And that can only happen when you take such jumps and such risks and such explorations to find out what exactly are you capable of, right? Who can you become in this process? And I think that technology through social media and stuff like that is giving you that avenue to do that. Instead of pretending and taking someone else's ideals and ideologies, do yours, right? Because that is the first step to being magnetic. The more essential, the more true you can be, the more Kali you can be, the more magnetic and arresting you will be, right? I'm a living embodiment of that, right? Go ahead and take that action, right? Go ahead and take that action. And now I want to talk about my upcoming program, which is an extension of this masterclass. So I have a program called Mohini, the power of being magnetic in your business. It's coming up. And this program will feel like an extension of this particular masterclass that you guys did. And we will have 4 calls inside the container. And those 4 calls are not going to be normal calls. They are not going to be coaching calls only. They are going to be activations like these, right? I call these calls activations because there is so much that we integrate and we bring up, and we combine so many different things, right? So Mohini is a container which is about finding that self-concept, tapping into your essential nature through a journey of 1 month, through 4 activation calls, so that when you get out of the container, you are this force of irresistibility. You are this force of nature that people cannot hold themselves from looking at you, from wanting to be with you, from being in your energy, from working with you, because you would have found your truest nature. You have found your rawest nature. I always give the example of a baby. When a baby is born, what happens? Everyone swoons towards the baby. The baby is just lying there naked and helpless, by the way. Nothing the baby is doing. But everyone is moving towards the baby. Everyone wants to love the baby and to hug the baby and take the baby. The baby is doing nothing. It's just being naked. That's it, right? So it is naked and holy at the same time, just like Ma Kali, right? It's naked and holy. And I have no other word to describe what the effect, the result that Mohini will create for you is that you will be naked and you will be holy and you will be magnetic. That is the reason why you will be magnetic, right? And if you guys join now, between now and, sorry, wait, where is that? Yeah, got it. Yeah, if you guys join between now and 30th of August, then we have 2 bonuses, actually 6 bonuses. There are 5 EFT activations. The first one is visibility magnetism for everyone who is fear of being visible anywhere, not only in social media, but others also trying to express your own truth. There is an activation EFT on visibility, whoever has visibility wounds. Then there is one on voice magnetism, which is on how to bring your voice into the table in a way that you can speak with certainty. You can let go of all the karma that you have with your voice, because a lot of people have karma with their voices, especially with their ancestors, because a lot of people were not allowed to speak what they really wanted to speak. So it will cut through all the karma and allow you to be magnetic via your voice. That's one. There's a second bonus. The third bonus is the one that we did as an extension of that. People are addicted to your energy, right? Some people are very scared of letting people in. And the truth is that the rawer you become, the more magnetic you become, the more people are addicted to your energy, and you have to let them in, because that's how you will serve more and more people. Then there's a fourth EFT activation, which is basically my DNA creates money. So we all have karma where we have anti-money postulates in our DNA, beliefs in our DNA, and that's going to break free from there. And the last one is a self-concept Mohini activation. So these are 5 bonuses that you get the moment you join. And my recommendation to you is to join now, so that we begin on 2nd of August. So by the time we open in August, we start in August, 2nd of August, we start the first call. By the time we start the first call, you will already have gone through all these activations. You will have practiced them. You would be way more prepared. So some people probably will join on 30th of July, right? Or 31st of July. And they will be at this receiving level, and people who will join now and have done those 5 activations will be at this receiving level, no matter what I'm giving them on 2nd of August, right? And the last and the final bonus is that initially I had made this program to be of limited time period. Like, I was not giving it for a lifetime, but then I realized that the potency of this program is so huge. Right from this masterclass itself, you may have felt it, that people who join between now and 30th of July, 30, are going to get lifetime access to it. But you have to join between now and 30th of July. I think Ritesh has also already given the link in the box. You will also find the link in my Instagram. So if you go to my Instagram and you look up at the Instagram link in bio, you will be able to find the link there, in the link in my bio. Okay. I want to give you a look of the page. Wait, give me a moment of how the page actually looks like. Right, so this is the page. This is the page. Okay. This is the page. And you can go through the page. I've written down what it is all about and why I have chosen to do a 4-call activation series on self-concept, and not just any self-concept, about finding your essential nature in a way that you allow that to become the most magnetic form of you. So there are 4 transmissions, 4 identity shifts, 1 sacred becoming. Live dates are 2nd, 9, 30th, 22, 30th. Time will be 10 a.m. Investment is 25,000. Replays available till 30th September. But if you join between now and 30th of July, right? We are on 22nd of July. You get lifetime access to it. So not only for ATEPS people, even you get lifetime access if you join between now and 30th of July. And we begin on 2nd of August. Recordings, of course, is going to be made available to each one of you, right? And if you join now, what's going to happen is you will be given linked to this Facebook group. There's a Facebook group here, and you will find all these 5 activations. If you can see, the 5 EFT activations that I told you will be given to you as a bonus. You will find that. Some people have already joined, so we are going to give them the link right away. Ritesh from our team will send you a WhatsApp text the moment you join, and we'll also send you emails, right? That's it. That's it. We'll make it lifetime. Some people have already joined. I think we have around like over 30 people who have already joined the program, right? And people who are coming in, I want to give them lifetime simply because I want them to go back to these calls, because these calls are so integrative and there's so much to explore. You would truly want to go back to them again and again and again. Every time you feel that I'm moving away from my essential nature, I'm moving away from who I truly am. And then I feel more confused, more exhausted, more burnout. And the reason we feel more burnout is because whatever was natural to us, it's no longer there. So there is a reason, there's a then need to come back to who we truly are and letting that become the most magnetic self. The other day I was watching a meme, and in the meme they said that, you know, your biggest abundance is beyond the cringe. Like everything that you think is cringe to you is actually your residue. Remember, Matangi brings up the residue. She will create gold from residue. And the last thing that I want to tell you was the card. If at all you guys know tarot, the card that denotes this whole nature of turning gold from residue is the Temperance card. If you look at the card, you will see that there is an angel-like figure who is pouring from one cup and then it's going to the next cup. So there is residue going in and becoming something golden. It's in alchemizing. And you all are alchemists. Each one of you are alchemists. And the reason you are not tapping into that alchemism is simply because you are not bringing your residue, your pain, your wounding, everything that you felt was torn and destructive in your life. You are not bringing that onto the surface and letting that turn into gold. You know, I always say that your best-selling offer is the offer that is born out of your own trauma, right? And Mohini will teach you that. Mohini will teach you to become the most original self so that you don't even have to put an iota of effort in trying to be someone and then letting that make the sale or bring in client. No, you will just be who you truly are, and automatically there's a lot that will shift around you, right? Because it's a container focused on magnetism, not from manipulation, but from service. You want to use your magnetism to serve the right people who will automatically keep coming into your ambit, into your field, right? So if you're not inside Mohini, then go ahead and sign up for Mohini. Go to my Instagram and you can see in the link in my bio. You can also DM me if you like. And if you're in my WhatsApp group, of course, the link is available to you. I will send you the replay of this one. And even there, you'll find it. You will even find it below this video on YouTube. You'll find the link there as well. Okay, guys, thank you for today. I will